Okay, I'm on Chip again. This was the horse that was pacey and trippy. So we're going to do a different trail. He's got his boots on, and now I'm trying a correctional bit in his mouth. And I rode him in it yesterday, and I thought he was a little bit better. So let's see how he does. I think even with these boots on, he's still a little ouchy with some of the rocks. And this is kind of like a big, what I call lumbery horse. Whoa, let me check your boots. Looking. Because he stumbled just a little bit like he was sore there. But I did ride him on trail yesterday. So I think these boots give him some protection, but when I got on where it was all rock, to me he still felt a little sore. So I don't know, he still might need a little bit more. And on these boots on the toes, it looks like he's wearing the toe down a little bit. And then that might help him, but what it means is that, you know, he's dragging his toes some, and so that's why the shoes are wearing some. So, you know, we'll talk about rolling the toe or rocker the shoe, or putting a square shoe on, because it changes the breakover and it helps you get their toe out of the way if they are trippy horses. But the boots don't have anything on them, so he's doing it himself to the boot, so hopefully that'll help him. So he's been pretty good. Oh, his woe is getting better. He still wants to look around if you let him. He backs off this bit much better, and he's turning better, and he's not leaning as much to the right, which he was doing in the beginning. But he is kind of big and lumbery, and that's just who he is, so we do have to make sure that he stays awake and pays attention. Because otherwise he likes to look around, and then he just likes to drag his feet and not pick them up really high, because it's easier, and that's when they're going to catch their toe on something. So anytime he stumbles, I still stop, back up, and I back up a fair amount to try to make it hard for him, so hopefully he'll remember the next time and pick his feet up. So it's better. It's not perfect. To me, it's just, you know, a walking horse that's dragging his feet, and so we just got to make sure he's paying attention. And as he goes up inclines, I'm pushing him to go faster, because I'm trying to get him to do more of a running walk. So he can do a flat walk pretty good, but we also want to get a running walk, and then we would work on his rack after we got that pretty well. Okay, so see, I'm going down a little bit rocks right now, and to me he just feels like he's not super comfortable on those rocks. So sometimes when I half halt, which is just squeeze and relax on the rein, you can watch that video that I have. When I half halt, which I'm just slowing him down, sometimes he pulls, and he pulls to the right. So when he does that, I hold my right rein and I push into him with my right spur to get him to stop pulling on it. Now as I go down hills, I half halt. So I half halt right now, half halt again, because I'm trying to keep him on his back end. Let's see if we can fit under this tree. That was a close one. Half halt. Now normally I'd back up because he kind of stumbled a little bit, but we're under a tree and that's too difficult. So you got to say, you know, what can you do? A half halt. Can't really half halt when I'm ducking down. Okay. Now I'm down at the bottom. So you make sure their footfall is correct, and then you start making them walk faster, because if they pace down that hill and then you speed up, guess what? They're just going to pace up the hill. So I try to go down the hill slow, maybe stop at the bottom. I just hit him because he's not paying total attention, and then speed up the hill. Okay, so now we have some rocks right here. He has to go down a little gully, so I'm going to half halt. Now I'm going to stop for a minute, because I really want to make sure he doesn't pace up this next part. So I stop to change his footfall, but also it gives him good manners. And if you're in a group, it helps the people behind you so the horses don't get excited. Now I'm pushing with one leg and then the other to try to get him to speed up. And I'm sliding the bit a little bit on him to try to keep his head down. I'm trying to keep his head down and lengthen his stride a little bit up the inclines. Now I'm half halt, because we're going downhill, half halt. So you see I gave 3 half halts, and it was only a tiny little downhill. I could feel he was just a little pacey when I hit the bottom, so I slowed down a little bit more. Now he's okay, so we're still going downhill. I don't like to pace down all the hills. I don't think it's comfortable, so I don't want the horses to do it. And so I'd rather go slow or serpentine or walk and stop than pace down a hill. Remember, you keep letting them pace, they'll keep pacing. So stay slow, but don't pace if possible, or just keep weaving the whole time. Okay, now we're on the flat, so I'm just sitting here in the dock. I'm just trying to show you what I do when I'm riding on the trail. It's definitely not being a passenger. I'm gonna duck again. And again. Okay, now it's going downhill just a little bit, but I'm gonna help him. So half halt, keep him on his back end. Half halt, not using any leg because he's walking out. One more half halt. Yep. And then I'm letting go. So again, when I half halt, I squeeze on the rein, hold it for about maybe 2-3 seconds, then I release it. Now I'm pushing one leg, then the other, trying to get him to walk faster. There'll be more rocks coming up, but there's none right now. So when there's no rocks, he's not really tripping unless there's a big bump in the road. So what you're trying to do with each horse is realize what you have, figure out what you can do to help it. So I see a stump coming up right here. Hey, pay attention. I knew he's not paying attention. And so I slid the bit, and you heard me yell at him. And guess what? He didn't step on it at all. But if I just went over it not paying attention, he probably would have dragged a foot right over the top of it and tripped. So I bend them around these turns, like left rein, left leg, left rein, left leg. And I always put pressure on and then release it. So that's why I said it twice, because I released in between. So now we're still going a little to the left, so I'm going to bend him for a second. Left rein, left leg. Now I'm going to release. Now we're going straight. So I want his head straight. Now I'm pushing one leg, then the other. Walk faster. Good job, buddy. Now it goes a little right, so right rein, right leg. Right rein, right leg. Get a little right bend. So you can do all your arena work out here. You just have to be motivated. And if you're talking, well, you either have to stop talking or you have to be able to multitask. I'm bending right. Now I'm going to duck. Back up. Now he's a little pacey. Oh, it's a good place to practice a stop because you're getting pacey. Back him up, get his footfall correct. That's a better footfall. Now it's not as so pacey. So I'm pushing right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. Whoa, guess what? Somebody stumbled a little bit. I like to go back over the object again. So I'm backing them up enough, and now I can see what it is. It's a rock sticking up in the middle. You probably can't, but I'll back up a little more. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to slide the bit. Pay attention. I tripped over it again. Not bad, but he stumbled a little bit. It's okay. We can do it 20 times if you want. That time he didn't trip. So again, you got to make it worth the effort. I'm going to pick up my feet if she's going to make me do that 20 times instead. But he's a calm horse. He's a brave horse. And so he's probably always going to be that we have to be on his case, because the hotter horses pick up their feet really well, don't they? Pay attention. But the lazy or duller ones sometimes don't. So we're going to help them. Every horse has bad things about them. Every horse has good things. So you just got to work with what you got. Right leg or left leg. Right leg, left leg. So every little incline I have, I'm trying to get this horse to reach more. He's big enough, and I see he could drive with his back end when I watch him in the round pen, but he does not drive with it when he's out here. And that's because he was probably step pacing or racking, so he's used to shortening his step. But he's got a lot of power, and if we could get it out of him, oh, it would be so fun. So why not try? So pay attention. Talking to him. Pay attention, not you guys. So you'll see I slide the bit, I talk to him, whatever I got to do. I got a stick in my hand, so I might tap him twice, like, hey. And it's just like you with your friend, and you know they're driving and they're not doing anything. You're like, hey, stop looking out the window. Hey, look over here. Go straight. You got those friends, right? They pay no attention when they're driving. It scares the shit out of you. So you make them pay attention. Keep getting their attention back, okay? This horse definitely you don't want looking off into outer space when a rock is coming up. Okay, if it's completely flat, maybe you could give him a break for a little bit. Alright, so now it goes uphill. So right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. Head's too high, slide the bit, get his head down. He's like, no, I don't care. He might trip on this rock. You gonna trip on it? He's like, hell no, I ain't backing down that hill. So I didn't like that hill because he didn't move out enough. When I asked him to move out, he picked his head up instead, and he just wanted to swing his legs up that hill. And I want him to learn to drive up that hill and use his hindquarters. Okay? So it wasn't great, but that's okay. That's how it starts. He'll get it in time. And each horse is different. Some of them you show them once and they go, oh, I got to put my head down, drive up that hill. And another horse you'll show 20 times and they're like, what? I have no clue what you're asking me to do. After 40 times, they're like, I'm kind of getting it. After 80 times, they're like a pro. So we're going downhill, he got a little pacey. That's what I'm doing, backing up. He's crooked, so left rein, left leg. So you want a good stop on your horse and they're pacey. You just start stopping all the time. It'll help you pace, it'll help you stop. So I want his stop as good as I can get it by myself, because when it gets in a group, everything gets amped up. And even if he stops perfectly out here with me alone, that was better going up the hill. He's not going to do it in a group. He's going to get amped up. So I got to make sure my stop is extraordinary for it to work in a group. And then you got to start riding in groups more often. When you're riding groups, start with one horse. When you can ride with one horse well, then go to 2 horses. When you can ride with 2 horses well, and who knows, that could take a year. Then you go to 3 horses, and you keep slowly adding horse by horse, because it increases the herd. There's a rock, pay attention. I slid the bit and I pushed them over. Every time you increase that herd, you increase their anxiety. Like, you can't expect them to ride by themselves 1,000 times, and then the one time you go in the group, they're well behaved. They're like, no, party, I'm with people, I want to stay with them, yay, I got other horses with me. So don't expect that. You got to work it. You want to ride in groups, find people to ride with, find calm people, and slowly work them in. And then you can get up to, a lot of people in time, but you got to work it. So see, he's trying to look around, so I just slid the bit. Now there's rocks. Hey, I just stuck my spur in him because I thought he was not paying attention. And you might be like, that's a lot to do. Well, if I can talk to you and do this at the same time, you can just talk to your horse and make him pay attention and give some half halts. If he trips on something, stop and back up. There's a stump right here. I slid the bit. So every time I'm sliding the bit with him, it's either I want his head down or I'm trying to get him to pay attention. And you might feel bad, like I want him to relax on the trail. Well, then he might fall on top of you. He'll be so relaxed. So, no, he's got a couple hours a day. He's got to focus. I have to focus all day long. So I don't feel bad for him. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop because when I put pressure on the bit, he put his head up. So the answer is, you can either put your head down or now we're going backwards. How'd you like that? He's like, I didn't like it at all, Gaye. In fact, I'm not so sure I like you, but they do. They all like me in the end. So they like rules. You might think I'm a little bit tough on them, but they really like it. They like to work. And they like to know what to do. So let's steer around this branch because it's in our way. So let's go to the right. He's not moving over. I'm digging with my left leg. He's still not doing it. So now I got both legs on him. So you make them go where you want. I laugh when I see people riding their horses, and there's a space where there's an opening, and then there's a space where a tree is like leaning down, and so the horse takes them under the tree and they duck down. I go, you could have just steered your horse to the open space. And they just look at me. I'm like, what? Remember, they're just like cars. Avoid things. If there's 2 spaces and you don't have to duck, I go for the open space. Okay, just steer your horse. So we're going to take this little path behind the bridge. He's trying to look to the left because there's a parking lot. So I just pulled on my right rein, and when he's not listening, I just stuck him with my spur and I smacked him with my stick. He needs to pay attention. I don't want to walk into something. Okay, and we were here just yesterday, so it's not like it's a new trail. And I decided, well, I'll do the same trail and videotape it. Okay, so there's some rocks sticking up. Here's one. He didn't hit it. Now there's a tree, so let's avoid it. So left leg, push him over. That's why leg yielding is super helpful for the horse to know. You just push them with your leg, and they should move over to the side. So there's some rocks in here, but otherwise it's kind of flat. It's not very difficult terrain, so I can make them walk faster in here. And now a lot of these guys trip when they're going slower. I'm trying to work on his gait, so I can't go slow and work on his gait. I can only do so many things, so the owner can go slow if she wants, but so I'm going to keep him walking. So when he slows down, that was a good one. So he scooted forward. I didn't hear anything. It could have been the cars going by up there. He got panicked. Something might have jumped out and I didn't see it. I can feel his little heart racing. It's okay. But it was a good example of what I do. So he jumped forward and I was like, hell no, we're not running from it. We're going to face our fears. So I stopped and I spun him around. Now, if I didn't teach him to move off my legs well before I did that, it would have been hard for me to turn him around. Okay. So now he turns to the right not so well, so that's the way I'm turning back around. So let's go off your right leg because I'm trying to make that better. Hey, that was good. So see how quick he can be when he's scared? If he can be that quick when he's scared, he can pick up his darn feet when he's walking. Okay. Now I bet you now that he's awake, he'll pay more attention to his feet until he falls back asleep again. So, but I'm glad I had the camera on. Usually that happens when I shut it off. Okay. So we're trying to walk a little faster. And lots of horses spook, but if you just keep letting them spook and not doing anything about it, well, they're not going to get any better. They'll just keep jumping like that. So, okay, now we got a bunch of rocks coming up. So let's see how he does. So now I can feel it. He feels ouchy to me. He feels like he's barefoot on these rocks. Yeah, now we're coming off the rocks. Getting a little better. A little better. Oh, now we got some more rocks. I'd like to walk faster, but he won't increase his stride right now. He's like, no, ouchie, Gaye, ouchie, rocks. Okay, so now I'm going to take a break. We're up at the road. We're going to stop for a minute, and then we're going to go back. So this is just up to the road. Listen to all the scary stuff and go back. So he got a couple cookies to make it good to want to come over here. Now I'm going to do my turn on the forehand off my right leg. So he's going to be better moving off my right leg soon than my left, and he was bad with it. So in time, that'll get so good and the left won't be as good that I'll have to then switch back to the left, and that's what happens. You work one side, gets really good, and then you work the other side to you keep trying to even it out. So he's taking little tiny steps now over these rocks. And what's that tell you? That his feet are a little ouchy. And you know, everybody gets confused. Yeah, he has boots on. Each boot has a different thickness and comfort level, just like your sneakers do. Some sneakers are great and some are so-so. Some you can feel the ground underneath your feet, and some have so much cushion you can't feel anything. So it's the same for them, except they don't have Nike or Adidas and stuff yet. Someday they will. So, all right, so now he's walking a little better. He got just a little pacey right there, so I just bent him to the right and pushed him off my right leg, and I slowed down a tiny bit. Once they're in the pace, if you just keep going, guess what? They're most likely going to keep pacing unless you hit them or spur them and yank their head up. That's not how I train. So that's up to you if you like to do that. But I don't like to bounce around and then have it go smooth. I want smooth, smooth, smoother, smoothest. That's how we roll. Okay, so he's doing good. He's got his head down. He's shaking his head. He just shuffled his foot. He didn't really trip, but I heard a shuffle, and I thought, well, I haven't backed up, so I'm going to back up. Oh, there's a big buck. He was here yesterday. Is that what you were afraid of? Did he jump across? He's like, damn, Gaye, it took you like 15 minutes to figure that out. Now the buck's running up through the woods. He was cool. He looked like that old Omaha commercial. Any of you guys see that? That's a beautiful buck. So I know the buck's on the right. He might come down. He might be behind a tree. So I immediately put my left rein and my left spur at this horse's side, because I know if that buck moves, this horse is going to fly to the left. He's not going to go towards the buck. Okay? So you prepare. So you can't see it, but I'm looking to the right. I'm not even looking where we're going. I'm like, where'd you go, Bucky? You're hiding in there somewhere, trying to spook us. So left rein and left leg against him. Now I got to look at this tree. so we don't hit it. Chip's being really good. Half halt down because it went down. So even those little things, if you half halt down and you can bend your horse, it's much nicer than your horse shoving your, guess what, shoving your leg into the tree. So remember, horses know how wide they are. They don't care how wide you are. So when they go through stuff, he just shoved his foot again. Get lots of back up. They don't think like, oh, her legs are too wide, I got to move over to the left so she doesn't smash her leg into the tree. It's all about control. So you judge your spacing, the horse will judge his. But you got to make sure you can fit, otherwise you bend them, you move them over, you stop, you back up, you get off if it's too narrow. Don't smash your legs into a tree. Same thing with ducking under things. You got to be sure you can fit because they're not going to stop once they go through it. And if they feel resistance, like you get stuck under the tree or your vest gets hung up or something, once they feel that pull, some of the horses panic. They go, I'm stuck. And so they push through. And when they push through, you know, you might fall off because you're stuck on the tree. So you make sure you have a good hoe and you're telling them how fast to go or how slow to go. Oh, he just stumbled. Yeah, it's all on video, Chip. So I'm pushing him off my left spur. There we go. Remember, the more you practice steering them and moving them over, the better your horse is going to get. The more you sit there and don't do anything and you're a passenger and you're chit-chatting with your friends, not paying any attention, the worse they're going to get. So doesn't mean you can't talk. You can. You just got to half halt while you're talking to them. I'm half halting while I'm talking to you. So I just half halted 3 times down that little incline. Okay. And then I'm feeling, what's his feet feel like underneath me? Now it feels better because he was a little pacey. So now one leg then the other. I'm pushing him up this hill. Good job. There's a little stump. Hey, pay attention. I hit him. Just a little tap for good luck. Like, hey, you make sure you got those feet picking up. Okay. So 2 half halts down that little incline. Now he's good. There's a loose rock, so I'm keeping an eye on it. He might kick it. We're good. Those of you who know how to half halt collect a horse and you understand, like, oh, help him going down the hill, I think this is boring. But a lot of people don't. Half halt, half halt, half halt. You keep it really still. A lot of people don't know you have to do that. They have no clue. So half halt down every hill unless your horse naturally can set back on his hocks and balance himself. But usually these big walking horses don't. And when I get one that does, I'm like, yay! Okay, so we went over it, so. There are 3 rocks, I saw it, I didn't see anything. Come on, let's back up. So I want to try it again. I think you can do a better job. Tap, tap with the stick, a little spur, pay attention. That was much better. Much better, Chipper. Much better. So, now he may never get perfect at it. I'm trying, but, you know, if I had him for 2 more months and he was still doing the same thing, would I keep backing over it? No, I'd try something else. So, if it doesn't work and you try it for a while, then you try something else. Or I might get a little like heavier boot, because if it's heavier, he'll pick his feet up higher. And if it's heavier, probably it'll give him more cushion. So it would help with a couple of things. Remember, sneakers come in different like weights. You know, there's light ones and there's heavy ones. So same thing with their boots. Okay, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, up the hill. Here we go. So the pacey ones, you keep their heads down as you're going up the hill. And the trotty ones, usually you keep their head up, but varies on the horse. And again, some people have taught them to pace with their head down, so that doesn't work. And some people have taught them to trot with their head up, so it doesn't work for those either. Oh, so the dirt right there, I really spurred him. Now, I'm going really backwards. Dirt right there, and this could get any of us. It's a bump, so it goes up like that. It's total dirt, and he didn't see it, and what did he do? He dragged a toe over it. And there's a bump because of the tree, so I wasn't paying attention either. So I'm thinking, he'll get over it, and he didn't. So I backed up, so let's try it again. going to slide the bit. Hey, I just tapped him. Better. So he picked his feet up. Now, so he just didn't see the depth change, which is normal because horses don't see like we see. Now we're going down over rocks. Oh, he's paying good attention now. And there he just collected himself and got on the back end. I didn't half halt or anything because he did it. I'm still not half halting because he's rocking back on his back end. So it's really steep. He knows what to do. Or at least he's learning. Either way, or he knows. Okay. So those little bumps will get you. It's weird. I said that and then it just got you. Okay, that's a little stump. Now, I don't think anything's wrong with this horse because he's doing this stuff. These walking horses are bred to drag their toes across the top of the ground so they have lots of endurance. And so they don't lift their feet real high. And then some of them bred them to be pacey because they wanted to put those heavy shoes on and get that gait. So what did we get? We get a horse that normally drags his toes. Then he's on the pacey side, so he drags them even more. And then you got yourself a trippy horse. Okay? So understand what they were bred for, what they were doing with them. It'll make more sense. So I gave a bunch of half halts there. And, you know, I don't like putting heavy shoes on horses, you know, to get their gait or something. But if you have no option, you're like, I have no one to help me. He's pacey. That's your only option. You could do it. And if he's trippy, I think it's better to put a heavy shoe on a horse and have him not trip versus he trips, falls down, and puts you in the hospital. Okay? So, you know, people, you know, get one way or the other with heavy shoes. I think you got to do what you got to do to help yourself be safe, ride the horse, and be comfortable. There's no reason to pace down the trail. He's like, holy cow, did you talk this ride? Save some of it for the next horse. Okay, so I think I will, because I got another horse to take out here. And we'll see, unless, I think you got the idea with Chip what I'm doing. I'm half halting, I'm slowing him down the trail. When I see rocks, I try to get after him so he pays attention. And if he does a bad job, we go over it a couple of times. So, and we're hoping he learns from this. And he goes home and he picks his feet up and he never trips again. But it's also riding them correctly and not riding him like this on a loose rein. There we go. Yeah. He's like, yay, freedom. And look where his head is. His head's way down there. And now his weight's on his front end. So you can ride a nice, sure-footed quarter horse like this, but you do not want to ride a big, trippy walking horse like that. It just doesn't work out well for the rider or the horse. They both end up on the ground. Okay, say adios, Chip. Adios, Chip. So I just want you to see how he moves his feet. The left one kind of goes out a little bit. And he doesn't lift his feet up very high. You're a little close, Chip. And he doesn't lift his feet up high, does he? Right? He's only clearing like, I don't know, an inch or two off the ground. So you can see, hey, you're good with gunshot. He's like, yeah, Gaye, I'm good with gunshot. So you can see why he wouldn't clear rocks and why he wouldn't clear stumps, because he doesn't pick his feet up. So they'll pick their feet up when they're more excited or when they're paying attention. So with him, you probably don't want to look at me. With him, again, if he gets tired or his head's down too low like he is now, just walking slow, he's going to start dragging his toes, right? Not using himself. Just stay back. So now he's being more cautious because I've been after him. But you see, as his head goes down, he starts dragging his toes more. He's kicking the dirt. Let's smell some poop, because that's fun to do. and he's really become more lazy than when I was riding him. So with ones like this, you know, you might think, oh, something's wrong with them. They're bred to keep their feet low to the ground. If they're picking them up high, they're either on the trotty side or somebody's got a heavy shoe on them. So just be aware of it, and you do as much as you can to help them, but you also got to ride them a certain way. This is even better. So see, he's getting lazier and lazier. He's crisscrossing his feet. His head's going lower. He's not looking where he's going. He's not paying any attention. Trying to walk back faster. This takes talent to go backwards. But you can see why he would trip, right? Look at all that weight. Probably 1,500 pounds all on his front end. And you saw him stumble on the rocks? Because he don't like those rocks. Now he stubbed his toe. He's like, yeah, those hurt. I told you they do. Okay, that might make more sense to you. Hopefully it got on some of the camera.